Greetings. This is foam cutting 101. Alright, this is a piece of Foamular 250. It's 25 psi residential housing construction foam. I think the same stuff that they put on the side of the house is for insulation. Basically what I've done is traced the plan form view of a portion of a hand launched tip. This line here represents the hinge line for the flap section, and this is the remainder of the cord here, or this would be the leading edge, this would be the trailing edge. I traced that onto the piece of it's approximately 1 inch thick foam, and now what I'll do is I'll weight it. Oops, I already cut that side. I'll put some weight on here because, as you'll see, I'm going to support the weight of this cutting wire like so. We just put the wire, this is, I think it's 16,000 stainless steel wire. We're going to energize it with a state-of-the-art power supply, circa 1918. Let's see, where's the alligator clips? Let's use the alligator clip here to energize the wire. Make sure it's not dirty. And we're going to just rely on gravity to pull the wire through the foam. And here we go. And you'll see the wire slowly eat through the foam. You may even be able to hear it. It cuts through there. Oh, there we go. That's one side done. Alright, here we go again. We're just doing the last side of the blocking process. Turn, energize power supply, and watch the wire disappear. And whammo. Alright, now that we have the plan form shape cut out and in a piece of foam that's thick enough to realize the airfoil that we want to transfer to it, what we need to do now is attach our templates to the ends, and the templates are what is going to create the shape in the foam. This is just a piece of Formica, just any kind of old Formica that you get off from a hardware store or off an old piece of countertop or what have you. And you can see that here's the airfoil shape. There's actually two templates that make the airfoil. One is the bottom template, and the other is the top. And these aren't actually lined up. You can use them for either side, so you can flip them. But if you see, when you put them together like this, you'll see that as the wire goes across the bottom template, what will happen is the foam will melt away in the thickness of at least the thickness of the cutting wire. But using this technique with two templates is kind of nice, because what happens is the foam will then, after the wire passes, it will drop down into the space created by the hot wire. So you actually cut with the bottom template first. You attach the top template, the top profile template, and now, since the foam is dropped down, you won't lose the thickness of the wire, and the some of the melting actually heats beyond the wire. I think the technical term is called kerf. But now we've compensated for that in effect. So that's the two template method. It's CompuFoil is actually the program that prints that out. You used to be able to get a free copy on the internet. I don't know that you still can. But I have one, and it still works on Windows XP at least. So let's hope my old 386 or whatever that computer I have it on still keeps running for the foreseeable future. Alright, here's an example of the foam cutting procedure in action. Just have to make sure that it's following the bottom of the template. Alright, you will see everything is set up. The templates are attached to the foam. You can see the wire advancing from the leading edge back to the trailing edge. You can adjust the speed of this by increasing the temperature. Never really figured out if a slower or faster is better or worse, but seems about right. The same, the mechanism that's pulling the wire through is this cantilever, I guess, or lever arm. It's basically just a ruler attached at one end, the pivot point, and then the drag lines or the pull lines. Oh, here comes the wire through, and it's not coming out perfect, but okay, here's round 2 with the top templates in place. Energize the wire and help this hot wire get around the very start. It should be pulling, and it is. Alright, that hot wire is really close to popping through. I hope it doesn't pop through the foam, because if it does, I'm going to have lead shot BBs all over the place. It looks like I just cleared it. And again, as you can see, the lever arm, maybe you can see it, maybe you can't, slowly descending, pulling the wire through as it goes through, as the drag lines go through this intricate pulley system. I can't believe it actually all works, but it's amazing how well it works for how simple it is. Just got to make sure those power supply lines don't get snagged on anything and hold up the wire. If the wire gets held up by anything and it sits stationary, what will happen is it'll just burn further into the foam and cause a ridge line or some kind of defect in the airfoil shape, which is not what you want after all this hard work. I'm going to have to set the camera down and catch this thing so it doesn't go flying once it exits the foam. And here it comes. Got to keep your fingers outside the... There we go. That should do it. And now the moment of truth. You can open up foam. That should come apart. Here it comes. Hold on one second. Well, I extracted the core, and I had a slight problem. It looks like the templates, the heights were off a little bit, and you can see where the trickiest part of cutting these things is the trailing edge. Since you'd like the trailing edge to come to basically nothing, to practically a point, it gets very tricky in terms of since you're using two templates, the templates have to be in pretty much exactly the same place Actually, the last template, the top template should be elevated slightly so you don't short yourself like I just did. But this was just for fun, just to show you sort of what goes on in cutting out a core. But you can see it's a pretty accurate, other than the fact that it's short, it's a pretty darn smooth airfoil shape. And it didn't take all that much time to generate. Actually, the templates are the toughest thing to make. They've got to be accurate. They've got to be very smooth. So again, the wire doesn't stick up. If the wire holds up, you're gonna cause ridges and deformities in your airfoil shape. But that's the trickiest thing to make. But other than that, after that, it's pretty simple. All right, there you go.